So, have you ever had one of those million-dollar app ideas? You know, the one that pops into your head and you just know it could be huge, only to get completely stopped by the thought of how much time, money, and, let's be honest, complexity is involved? Well, if that's you, you're going to want to hear about this. It's a new framework called vibe coding, and it's a way to use AI to make your ideas real, way faster and cheaper than you ever thought possible.
You see, for years, building even a basic first version of a product, an MVP, meant doing it the old way. You'd hire a super expensive agency, wait around for 3 to 6 months, and place this massive bet on a single idea. It was a huge risk. Vibe coding completely flips that on its head. Now, you can build incredibly fast, you can validate your ideas for a tiny fraction of the cost, and you can test a whole bunch of concepts to find out what people actually want.
Okay, so what is vibe coding really? Let's get specific. It's a strategy where you use AI to generate pretty much 100% of the code for your first product. Now, this is really different from what you might have heard of as AI-assisted coding. That's where a developer uses AI like a copilot, and the AI does maybe 50% of the work. Vibe coding is all about that first big leap, getting you from just an idea in your head to a real, working product you can put in front of customers.
But before we even think about touching a single tool, we have to talk about the #1 mistake that absolutely sinks founders, and it doesn't matter if you're technical or non-technical. Seriously, getting this one thing right is the key to making any of this work.
And here it is. I can almost guarantee it. The #1 reason these amazing AI tools seem to fail and projects just grind to a halt is that the scope is just huge. People try to build their entire grand vision all at once. They'll feed the AI a 10-page document outlining every feature. And you know what happens? The AI gets totally overwhelmed, the code it spits out is a mess, and you're just stuck. The solution is to think radically smaller.
And that brings us to the 30-second rule. This is your new golden rule. Your app has to solve one very specific pain point for a user within the first 30 seconds of them ever using it. That's it. If you can do that, you've proven the core of your idea has value. If you can't, honestly, no amount of fancy features is going to save it. This rule forces you to be absolutely ruthless about what truly matters. So how do you actually put that into practice? It's with something called the one-sentence prompt strategy. Instead of giving the AI a whole novel, you give it one single sentence that describes one single feature. That's step 1. Step 2, you test that one feature like crazy until it works perfectly. Then, and only then, do you move to step 3. Add the next tiny feature with another single sentence. You just repeat that loop. This keeps the AI focused and it keeps your project moving forward. Now to do this, you have to adopt a very specific mindset. First, your goal is not a perfect, beautiful product. Your goal is validation. Can you get anyone to pay you for this? Second, you have to learn to embrace disposable code. Your first version is going to be messy. That's okay. The learning you get is the real prize. So be ready to throw it all away and start over. And finally, you got to prioritize survival. Don't waste time on enterprise-level security when you have 0 users. Your only job right now is to build something people find valuable enough to pay for. Okay, so we've got the mindset, we've got the 30-second rule. Now we come to a really critical fork in the road. And this is important. Your entire strategy for picking AI tools is going to be completely different depending on whether you're building a web app or a mobile app. Let me break down why. Think of it like this. Building a web app with AI today is kind of like building a house with prefabricated rooms. You can snap them together with beginner-friendly tools, and that core structure you build is solid. You can live in it. But building a mobile app right now is, well, it's different. It's like building a beautiful architectural model out of foam board. It looks amazing, it shows you the vision, but you can't actually live in it. You have to take photos of that model and give them to a master builder to construct the real house from scratch. Let's focus on web development first, because the AI tools for building on the web are just so much more mature. We can actually map them out on a pretty clear spectrum. This is your roadmap, based on your skill level and how complex your app is. This journey has 4 tiers. You're going to start at Tier 1 if you're a total beginner, using tools like Base 44 that just handle everything for you. As you get a little more confident and need more power, you'll naturally graduate to Tier 2 with tools like Emergent. Now, Tier 3 is absolutely crucial. This is your rescue tier. When the visual tools break or get stuck, you switch to an AI code editor like Cursor to fix things. And finally, when you have a live product with real paying users, you move to Tier 4 with something like Claude Code to get that professional, high-quality code.
This table really gives you the whole picture. Tier 1 is for when you don't know the first thing about databases or user logins. Tier 2 is for when you start wanting a little more control.
The trigger to move to Tier 3 is usually frustration. You're just hitting a wall with the visual tools. And Tier 4, that's for when you've actually got something that works and you need to make it reliable and scalable. You just level up as your needs change.
All right, let's switch gears and talk mobile. Remember that foam board model we talked about? Here's how we actually build it and then turned it into a real house that can pass the App Store's tough inspection. It's a very unique two-phase process.
So here's the crucial part. You split the job in two. In Phase 1, you use a web-based visual tool like Emergent to build out the entire look, feel, and flow of your mobile app. You can even share a web link of this prototype to get feedback. But, and this is so important, you throw the code away. For Phase 2, you take screenshots of every single screen of your prototype, you feed them into a powerful AI like Claude Code, and you tell it, rebuild this as a real mobile app from scratch.
So why on earth would you go through all that trouble? Well, it's because the mobile vibe coding tools that exist today, they often create code that's messy, it uses outdated parts, and it just will not pass the strict quality standards of the Apple App Store or Google Play. If you try to submit the code from that prototyping tool, it will almost certainly get rejected. This rebuild method is your ticket to creating clean, high-quality code that actually has a chance of getting approved.
Okay, we've gone through the mindset, the critical scoping rule, the web spectrum, and that special mobile method. Now let's just tie it all together into a clear path that you can follow to get your idea validated. So here are the absolute key things to remember. First, the whole point of vibe coding is fast, cheap validation, nothing else. Second, live and die by the 30-second rule to keep your scope incredibly small. Third, please remember that web and mobile are two totally different games with two different playbooks. Fourth, start with the absolute simplest tool you can find and only level up when you absolutely have to. And finally, do not be afraid to throw your code away and restart. The learning is way more valuable than the code itself.
Look, this whole framework is about turning ideas into action. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What is one specific pain point that you understand, that you could build a solution for, that delivers real value in just 30 seconds? That's not just a fun little exercise. That is the actual starting point of your next big thing.